Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, here to bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. In this video, we'll be covering a Season 1 episode that has a relatable storyline we used to share growing up with our siblings, but its conclusion is, well, you'll find out. Today's episode is titled, Cover Girls. First we'll discuss the plot, and then my thoughts and critiques with my final score. So, let's get right into it. The episode begins with Lincoln at Clyde's house, realizing he missed his curfew and makes a mad dash back to his house. He lets his sisters know he's going to be late getting home, so the girls do what they can to prevent their parents from going into Lincoln's room. Luckily, their brother makes it to his room without his parents even knowing. Next morning, the kids have to do their annual spring cleaning, but because they already made plans for the day, Lincoln's sisters get out of their chores by asking their brother to cover for them. All of them. Lincoln manages to trick his parents into thinking everyone is cleaning upstairs, but it gets worse when their pop-up wants to have a video chat with them downstairs. Lincoln alerts his sisters and tells them to come home while he tries covering for them in the meantime. Eventually, all his sisters make their way back home and start impersonating one another until the video chat ends. They're immediately caught by the parents, and their punishment is to continue the plans they couldn't put off, but they have to do them while wearing whatever it was they were wearing when the video chat was over. While Lincoln thinks he got off easy since he won't be out in public, Clyde comes over and brings the public, his whole class, with him, much to Lincoln's embarrassment. Well, that concludes the plot of the episode, so now we come to my thoughts and critiques. I'll start off by saying, even though the central theme of the episode is one many of us can relate to, this is actually one of the most underwhelming episodes of the first season. Some may disagree, but I'll get to those criticisms in just a little bit. Let's first talk about the good stuff the episode has to offer. Although a bit of a stretch to how Lincoln managed to evade his parents finding out he didn't get home on time, and very questionable as to why Lincoln just happens to have a trunk full of his sister's clothes, awkward. I really liked how everyone was willing to take the risk of getting in trouble in order to prevent one of their siblings from getting punished. My brother used to cover for me when I was a kid, and I would do the same for him. No matter how annoying they can be to one another, they will still go out of their way to look out for each other. For the most part, the kids impersonating each other was pretty funny. I can't be the only one who thought Grey Griffin was using her Mandy voice when Lola was trying to be Lucy. The best part of the episode was Lenny and Luann doing their little tribute to the Marx Brothers mirror routine and then performing the Macarena. As a side note, the original animatic had Lenny and Luna in the same scene, but it was switched to Luann. I'm not sure why they would switch, considering Luna is closer to Lenny's height than Luann, but this is hardly the worst of the problems I had with this episode. So now we come to the negatives. The biggest problem the episode had was a little more than halfway through the plot when all 11 siblings were back home. It's understandable why Lynn would have to impersonate Lisa or why Lana would have to impersonate Lenny because not everyone was home yet. But once everyone had returned home, what was the point of them continuing this endless masquerade? They could have just worn their regular clothes and maybe they could have gotten away with everything. To be fair, they technically did get away with it because apparently Pop-Pop wasn't wearing his glasses. Funny how he never seems to wear them in future episodes, and even more hilarious knowing he can look at anyone with white hair and just assume it's Lincoln every time. The kids had so many opportunities to avoid getting caught, but I get it. They had to be caught for lying to their parents about getting out of doing their spring cleaning. But the parents seemed more concerned about their kids deceiving them rather than shirking their responsibilities. Both can be bad, but I think the parents went in the wrong direction with their punishment. Lynn Sr. could have stuck to his original idea of grounding them, perhaps until the house was spotlessly clean, and not go along with Rita's idea of having the kids do what they wanted to do while dressed up as someone other than themselves. Then again, this episode shows how easily fooled people like them can be. Where were they when all this commotion was going on? Unless they were down in the basement the entire time, there was no way they could have not seen or heard what was going on in the living room, especially because that's where their bedroom is. Considering Luna was in the garage the entire time, presumably with her band, it amazes me they couldn't hear anything coming from a structure literally next to them. If they're so easily distracted with whatever it is they're doing that they don't hear or see anything else around them, I think they deserve to get deceived. And finally, doesn't it strike you as a little strange how Bobby couldn't tell the difference between his teenage girlfriend Lori and her baby sister Lily? If he could see through Luna's disguise in the episode where he worked as a mall cop, how could he not figure out the girl he's handing a necklace to is not the same girl he was just with the same day? He sees Lincoln show up with Lori, and he can't put two and two together? Lori, dressed up as Lincoln, doesn't even mention the fact she's only dressed like her brother as punishment? Just how? Why? I don't know. Overall, this episode has its good moments and presents its own version of how siblings will cover for each other, and while I appreciate all of that, it's the bad moments of the episode that begin driving the episode down, and then you're left feeling less than enthused as you were at the beginning. To tell the truth, the first few minutes of the episode, meaning everything before the next morning, could have worked as a Loud House short. It was about the same length of time as other shorts, so there's that. The kids continuing with different outfits even though they were all home and had no need to keep putting on a masquerade was their own undoing, and, well, who else can you blame other than themselves? And I'll never understand how people like Rita, Lynn Sr., and Bobby can be that easily inattentive to what's going on around them, or in Bobby's case, completely unaware of what's happening directly in his face. But hey, at least the kids got their comeuppance, so a big lesson was learned by all of them. Basically, it started off with a good story and then spiraled out of control as the end got closer. With that said, I give Cover Girls a 7 out of 10. Well, folks, that concludes my review of Cover Girls. It's one of the lowest points of Season 1, but I don't despise the episode. It could have been better than what it was, or it could have worked as a 3-minute short, but that's just me. So what did you guys think of it? Love it? Hate it? Something you would add? Change? Keep it as it is? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest Loud House content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.